Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first of my Let's Play Terraria series. Terraria is a two-dimensional sandbox adventure awesome sort of game. If you haven't played it or heard of it before, I recommend you give it a shot. I'm going to be starting a fresh character from scratch, and you are welcome to join me and follow along with my adventure. So here we go. You have all sorts of variety of what you can do with your character, from hair color, eyes, skin, clothes. I'm generally not the most artistic, so I tend to click random until I see something entertaining, and I go with it from there. So, good enough. What should we name this? There we go. Adventurer. I probably can't spell, but we'll go with it. And now we get to create a world. I'm going to go ahead and just start with a small world. Everything's about just the difference is how big the world is, how far you have to travel for different biomes, which I'll get into, and how much space you have to create. I generally, for one player, I'll stick to small just because you don't have to travel as long or as far. So, up to you. Do what you feel like doing. Alright, so while the game is generating, I'll give a bit more. You start off with basically nothing, and similar to Minecraft, you collect resources, you build a home, you build better weapons and tools. Unlike Minecraft, this game is 2D, it's got a bit of a platformer feel, and it has much more interesting enemies and boss fights, as well as just a good sense of humor. So we start off, here's me, and you can see it's nice two-dimensional. Trent over here, he is the guide, one of the NPCs that you can get in the game. His goal is basically to, well, his supposed job is to tell you how to craft things. What he winds up doing more often is opening your door and letting zombies in at night, which is never pleasant early game. See what we got here. Throwing knife, arrow, bottles. Not bad. I like loot. So, in Terraria, you start off with a pickaxe, an axe, and a small bronze sword, if I remember correctly. You're going to want to start exploring, gathering materials. Wood is a great early resource. It allows you to build a nice home, build a workbench, a couple other resources, build a door, most importantly. And the reason building a home right away is important is during the day, this biome, which I'm in, is just a normal safe biome. The only things that spawn are like bluebirds and bunny rabbits. They aren't going to hurt me, but come nighttime, zombies start spawning. And a zombie would love nothing more than to turn my brains into lasagna and eat it. So, gonna cut down a few trees, eventually build myself a nice basic home. Something nice about Terraria, you can be as artistic and creative as you want, or if you're like me, I tend to be a bit more on the exploration and combat aspect, which my homes wind up looking a little bit Spartan and made out of whatever resources I have readily available. But that's the beauty of this game. Everyone's free to do it themselves. Also, this game is it's $10. It goes on sale a lot, often 75% off, and come on guys, for $2.50, you can't even get a decent meal for that much. Definitely worth looking into if you are even remotely into this type of game. Hey look, I have a visitor. Kill the slime! Alrighty. Slimes will spawn in this area, but as you can see, they're not very dangerous, so they do kill all my bunny rabbits though, which is kind of sad. But they drop gel when they die, which you can use to make torches, and which is a very important thing to have when you're exploring underground. Let's kill this guy off. There we go. See? 2 gel was dropped. And if you look up in the background, you can see the sun. It's about noon right now through this day, so I have a little bit more time before nightfall, which is when I want to have a nice home to repel any zombie invasions. So I think after these 2 trees, I should have plenty of resources. And I generally don't explore too far out during my first daytime, just because I'm more interested in getting a shelter up and running. Alternatively, if you're feeling brave, you can just take off in one direction, go exploring, find treasure chests. Sometimes the treasure chests will drop a better weapon, and you can survive your first night just by killing things, but I like to play it just a little bit safer. So what I'm going to just do is level out a nice patch. And of course I can't ever click, so let me put that dirt back where it belongs. There we go. Make a nice little level area for my home. There we go. And start laying a nice log floor. Didn't you always want to live in a log cabin? Well, in Terraria, everyone can live in a log cabin. Hey look! Squirrel! I bet he wants my acorns. Actually, I don't think you can feed squirrels acorns, but that would be an awesome feature. As it is, they just kind of chill there. They don't hurt me because they're friendly. Nope, I can't feed him an acorn. That would be fun. So let's go back to mining. There we go. Acorns drop from trees. You can use them to plant new trees, so always remember, kids, sustainable foresting. If you're going to cut down the entire forest, at least have the decency to plant a few shrubs. Luckily in Terraria, they respawn in a matter of minutes, not years, so not only you replant trees, but it's a reward you can enjoy yourself. So I just crafted a workbench, which when I'm near, I can craft a lot more recipes. First thing I'm going to do is craft myself a couple of doors so that those slimes can't come in. And there. It's rough, it's crude, but I now have a basic shelter for when nighttime comes. Unfortunately, this shelter, the guide is also going to want to come into tonight, so before it gets dark out, I'm going to make a front porch. There we go. I'm actually going to make a second level for the guide to move into, so he'll leave me alone. It's good to have him around, because if you get new materials, you want to know what to make. I'll actually show you guys that interface right now. Save the guide from the slime over here. There we go. So if you talk to your guide, bring up crafting, this little slot over here, you can drop anything you want, and he shows you every possible thing you can make with that item. So it really is, especially, I have played this game a little bit too much, so I have many of the recipes memorized at this point, just from enjoying the game. But if you're new to the game and just exploring, he's very valuable to keep around. So there we go. This is actually significantly bigger than a house for a guide would need to be, so I'm actually going to see if I can make... Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to turn this into 2 rooms up above for the guide, and later you get many more NPCs, non-playable characters, that show up. So let's get ready for it. What I'm doing, so right now I'm also making furniture for my homes up here. For an enclosure to be considered a home or livable in Terraria, it has to be X many units, basically X many units large. So a certain amount high, a certain amount long. It has to have a light source, which is why I put torches up. And it has to have a table of some sort, either a workbench or a table, and a chair. And it also needs to have a full background, which I'll get to in a second. Here we go. Now, I made all this wood wall so that now we have an actually enclosed space. Almost. I see I missed a block over there by the table, so I'll get back to that in a second here. And if you look in the background here, nighttime is rapidly approaching, which will bring an onslaught of zombies. There we go. So, now I have... So, if you look here, both houses... This means the guide has claimed this area as his home. This area is also suitable, so when I get the conditions for the merchant or whatever NPC comes next, they'll have somewhere to move in. And just so you guys know, a new NPC, even if you get all other qualifications, they will not move in until there's a home for them to move into. So just keep that in mind. Always a good reason to have a spare home. So, I'm going to build myself a chair as well. And this is just something I kind of like doing in... There we go, that should be plenty. I always like to have a small supply of platforms. And if it doesn't make sense why I'm doing this right now, that's fine. There is a method to my madness. There we go. Perfect. So I always like to keep the bottom area of my fortress, or I like to build towers, but I like to keep the bottom area of my tower intentionally open so NPCs never move in. Eventually they don't mess with my doors, and it's kind of just a safe area for me to store things and whatnot. Remember that chest I grabbed earlier? I'm now going to use it as general storage for things I don't really need immediately. I will get, as I get more chests later, I'll start organizing a little bit better. Actually, before it officially goes nighttime, I'm going to plant a few more trees. This way, if I need wood later, I should have plenty. And later in the game, when you start fighting more fearsome enemies, you'll have to worry about your NPCs dying. Right now, to a slime, it would take so long to kill off an NPC that you're pretty safe to start. Now, if you would just actually see what I mean about opening and... Oh, apparently in the new patch, they close doors behind themselves. Used to be they never did. And so you'd be happily minding your own business, and next thing you know, there's a zombie gnawing on your femur. Never pleasant. I don't recommend it for anyone. Alright. So, since I'm not going to want to go venturing outside during the first night, because I don't really have much... Actually, hey, I'm going to make myself some armor. There we go. Right-click allows you to equip equipable items. I guess the guy's gonna go on and die. So I have... Now I'm in wood armor. It's not a lot of defense, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? And here's where a couple of these wooden platforms come in handy. You can actually fall... Wooden platforms you can stand on, but you can fall through. And I'm gonna start digging down a basic mine shaft. See what resources I can find. There we go. I'm not actually going to dig too far down initially. but I will start digging over. And this way I'm kind of encased in a nice, safe cage. Nothing should be able to come down and try to chew on my face. Let's see if I can get some stone. Later in the game, I'll have more stone and dirt than I know what to do with, but early game, stone's actually kind of useful. You need it to build a furnace, you need it to build, well, bricks if you want to have a fancier looking home than just wood. So, let's see what I can find here. One nice thing about Terraria is that you can kind of play at your own pace. If you want to dig out the whole world, the game's not going to stop you. There is a scaling of sorts, but that's initiated by beating a boss later. Yeah, so in Terraria there are bosses you can fight, and they tend to drop some pretty nice rewards. But you really get to set the scaling. If you don't want to fight intense enemies, you don't really have to go and seek them out. They won't all of a sudden show up to you. There are a few random events, but again, those don't start until you start harvesting bosses. And we can see the NPC let a demon eye into my home. This will take a while. And there's a zombie knocking to come in too. There we go. Dead eyeball. So now we can see it's about midnight from the moon. I'm probably just going to keep mining during... Oh, really? He let a zombie into... So this is why we can't have nice things, people. NPCs always have to go and ruin it all. And get me killed in the process. Run away! You can see my health in the top right, and I'm not long for this world. So yeah, Terraria, Revenge of the Guide. Stay out, damn you. Eventually, if I go away and turn around, he'll just show up in his house and he'll stop running out. But for now, he's having fun, tempting fate with zombies. Who knows, maybe they bribed him to kill me. I don't know. Over this way. I'm gonna go try to kill that zombie off with my axe. The axe doesn't do a lot of damage and it's going slower than the pickaxe, but if you're noticing, it knocks the zombie back further. So, this way I can kill him. And if you look up here, that fallen star, you can gather those to make a couple of different potions as well as mana crystals to increase your max mana. They will fall randomly throughout the night. If it's convenient, pick it up. This one I might ignore just because I don't want to deal with a demon eye. But in general, if you see them, go ahead and grab them. They're useful. And there's a lot. Later on you'll find there's a lot of really fun magic items to use, so having a lot of mana can really help out. Where's the moon? Alright, so almost the end of nighttime. And I hadn't been watching closely, but if you notice, one of the trees I planted already sprouted up. Not as tall as the original trees, but it's a renewable source of wood. I'm not going to complain. And that way, I mean, if you're never going to use wood again, you don't really need to replant a tree. But it's kind of nice just to have a supply. It makes for decently pretty houses. So in case you're wondering, I saw that there was some more stone over here, so I decided I'd go in it. All within the safety of my happy little cave. Alrighty, head back to my workshop that hopefully the guy's not about to let all the zombies in. Aha! So I gathered enough stone, 20 stone, some wood, and a torch, and I can make myself a happy little furnace here. So the furnace is another workstation. No, don't do it, don't do it, well, that's fun. At any rate, I'm just going to abandon shop and come up here. The zombies go away in the morning, so I can just hide out here until they get bored and decide that I don't sound too tasty after all. Let's be brave, I'm bored. Whee. Okay. Might not have been the best decision ever. Run away. There we go. Let's see if I survive my first night. Alright, that's a little bit close for my liking. I'm just gonna hide here. The furnace is a workstation that lets me smelt raw ore into usable bars. I had more tin ore than that. Oh, I must have deposited it. So, one morning comes and the zombies all leave. I'll start smelting some tin. Now, I'm playing on a relatively new patch. I believe tin ore replaces iron in some worlds. They're equivalent. It's just a cosmetic difference. The developer said, hey, let's give us some variety. If I remember correctly, so with tin, I can make, if I can get enough tin, I can then make an anvil, and I can actually start crafting things like swords, a better pick, armor, all the things you really need to progress in Terraria. Get up to iron, or tin tier, gold tier. Oh, fun side note in Terraria. Contrary to real worlds, gold is better than iron. So, magic apparently trumps science. But that's more fun anyways. Alright. Let's make some tin bars. I have 5 tin bars. Is that enough to make an anvil? Apparently not. Actually, this would be a thing you can go talk to the guide about. What can I make with tin? With tin, I can make a tin watch. Oh, apparently I think tin is... I think tin replaces bronze, actually. Okay. So, I can't make any of these things with tin until I have an anvil first. So I need to find some iron. With this all in mind, it's time to start exploring a little bit. Whee. I'm gonna use dirt as just a basic building block. There we go. I just like chopping down the grass as I go. There's really no point to it unless you have a blowtorch. a blow-dart gun, but... Ooh, iron. So, iron is what I'll be needing to make an anvil out of. Early game, iron is amazing. It also lets you make chains, which you can use to craft a grappling hook if you're looking enough to find a hook. Grappling hooks are amazing for early game mobility. As I'm starting to explore now, you can see up here we have a map. If you press M, it brings up the whole map, so you can easily see where you've been, where you are. If you see something, the map will automatically record, so you can remember where you're going next, or you can find your way back. So if, say, you found a nice deposit of a highly valuable ore, and you proceeded to get your face ripped off by whatever monster was guarding it, you can find your way back, maybe a little later when you have better health, better gear, what have you. Underground caves like this often will have pots which you can smash for stuff. I like stuff, so I'm going to smash all the pots. And loot the treasure chest. Glow sticks and wooden arrows. Glow sticks are kind of like torches, but they work underwater, which I don't plan on going into water just yet, but it's nice to have a supply of them around. Maybe I spoke too soon about the water thing. Blue slimes are a little bit tougher than green slimes, but not by a lot. Water you want to be careful of. You can drown if you stay underneath it too long. And looks like I found the jungle biome. So in Terraria you have different biomes. If you notice, the background's changing, the type of tree changed, and the enemies changed. I'm going to run away now because tougher enemies spawn in the jungle biome, and I'm not exactly ready to... Yeah, see that bat can kill me in about 5 hits. So I'm not really wanting to fight those enemies yet. So I'm just going to run away for now. Go see what's over to the right, now that I've found something on the left. Once I have maybe full bronze armor with a bronze weapon, I can come back. Iron preferred, but we'll see. Oops, I'll have to suppress that. Green slimes are a little bit easier to kill, and I do like to have a supply of gel. I don't know, early I'm always fine, and then I wind up finding myself running out of torches later, so... You always run out of torches right when you most need it, when you're busy fighting for your life. And the last thing you want to do is be fighting for your life in the dark, and naturally, you get knocked down a hole, you have no torches, and you're fighting for your life in the dark. Ooh, I see a cave over here. And iron. Very nice. This is kind of an interesting little mountain I have generated. It's kind of cool. I suppose one nice thing if I were to have built my home up here on the top of this mountain, only flying enemies could attack me from the right side, which means I wouldn't have to worry about a zombie threat there, but... it's gonna be fun. Ouch. In Terraria, if you fall too far, you will take falling damage, and it can and will kill you. And don't worry, eventually, soon enough, I will wind up dying. Terraria has all sorts of fun statements for how you die. So, like, if you fall and die, often the game will be like, adventurer didn't bounce. Or other similar things. One other thing about glow sticks is they kind of just keep bouncing around. So it's nice to explore, to scout ahead too. Ah! Rope and a blowpipe. The blowpipe is a ranged weapon that as you cut down grass, you can gather seeds with it. It's not a very strong weapon, but beats nothing. Rope, on the other hand, is your best friend. And I will show you why. I'm gonna put some here, actually. So rope can be placed off of a ledge and lowered down, so now you can climb up and down a rope, which is great for scaling cliffs, like this, which, unfortunately, I have to dig my way up to it first. But we'll get there in a minute here. There we go. So now with some rope, I can dangle it off of this cliff. I mean, I could just use the route I opened up, but for demonstration purposes, you can go up, you can climb up and down on a rope, which means as long as you have a rope going down somewhere, you're not going to fall to your death, and you can scale up and jump over any previous obstacles. It was added in the most recent patch, and rope makes the early game so much nicer. Late game, ultra late game, you get all sorts of other things that make you jump higher, faster, etc. I guess there was a dead goldfish there. And so it's not as important late game, but early game, it's wonderful. You can find it from pots, in treasure chests. I don't think you can craft it, but later there is a merchant NPC that shows up and he sells it at a reasonable price. Ah, cool. It's snowing. Gotta be careful. Ice slime, much harder. And you can actually pick up snow. I don't know how much this I'll pick up right now, but yeah. So you can actually make snow bricks and you can make an igloo if you'd like as a potential home. I want that slime. This is another also, the biome's a little bit dangerous, so I don't know how long I will explore here. And now I think I might be drowning, so. There we go. Also something else you can do with rope. You can also use it like monkey bars. So rope is an incredibly useful and versatile thing. If I ever fall down there again, I can get out. I just like to have I'm a bit of a collector when I go through, so I'll collect a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Ooh. And now we found the new biome I've actually not had a chance to play with yet. This biome is called the Crimson. This, we're starting to get into over here. Red ice block. Cool. So, something also about ice, you slip and slide on it. Not really a useful thing per se, but it is kind of fun. Now, in other generated worlds, you'll have what's called the Corruption. The Crimson is just another version of the Corruption. Ah, oh. Except we've got slightly different enemies here. Oh boy, I'm running away from my life. That's a wall crawler. It hurts like crazy. One of the bosses can be fought here. The Crimson is definitely an area you don't really want to be fighting in until you've got much better than what I have for gear. So I'm just gonna run back on home. Oops. This will be fun. we go. Unfortunately, monsters can't drown, only you. Pity, because I would love to drown that giant, ugly spider. So you can see now as I'm coming back home into normal biome, the background changes to a nice happy forest. And slightly more manageable enemies spawn. This would be another place where having rope would be useful. Alternatively, what you can do is build platforms and use them to jump up. Platforms are quite useful if you have just a straight wall you need to scale. And actually, now that I have a little bit of rope, I can work on building my mine shaft a little bit deeper since I have a way of getting out. Place a couple more chests. So what I'm going to do is, this chest directly above my forge, I'm going to use to store any mining metal type materials. Before I do that, I've got a few more things I can craft now. Forge all the tin bars, and let's see how much iron I was able to... Okay, good. So now I have enough iron. I'm going to make an anvil. Place it down over here. So now with the iron, I can make an iron door, which I think zombies can't ever smash through. There are some special events where zombies can smash through. It's a bit of a pain, but that's what happens. Alright. If I have enough tin, I might be able to make a better pickaxe, although... I guess I can't make a tin pickaxe. I could make a tin sword, which would be kind of useful. I might save up my tin, though, because I'm going to want better armor. Chain can be used like rope. So that is something... You can always make chain out of iron, but since I am saving up my iron for a better pickaxe and better armor, I'd rather not spend it on chain right now. So I'll deposit these over here. I'm just gonna put some stuff away for now, because I don't really need it. Plus, you guys don't want to watch me manage my inventory. That's boring. You want to watch me explore and kill things and run away screaming like a little girl. All those things are much more fun. So let's kill a couple slime. Okay. I'm gonna close some doors so I don't get invaded. And let's lower some rope. So the rope will you can lower rope from the top, which is really kind of cool, and it'll automatically stop when you hit an obstacle. So now you can actually mine So better ores and stronger monsters, unfortunately, are further down. So this way I have a straight shaft I can easily climb up or down, and I don't... See, if I were to just fall... If I get the shaft any deeper and just fall, I'd wind up taking falling damage. It's about just the right height where I don't take damage right now, but... This way I have a controlled fall, an easy way up and down, which just simply normally didn't used to be available. This is why rope is such an awesome thing. You can see now it's the next nighttime, so there you go, keep on digging. Every so often, if you feel so inclined, make yourself a little nook, place a torch. No one likes working in the dark. If I encounter any useful ore on my way down, I will stop and mine it out. And early game, just about everything is useful, so... There we go. Keep on digging. At least until my rope runs out. Over here you can see the cave that I started to explore. I might mine my way over to that, explore it a bit. Might be a bit more interesting for you guys than watching me dig a hole straight down. Oh. And that's... probably gonna die here. There we go. Got away. That is one downside if you dig too deep too quickly, or actually it's because I have these tunnels here to the side. Zombies can spawn and fall on top of you, which will really ruin your day. Yeah, the zombie. So I think I might have to wait for him to leave. In which case, I think this brings an end to the first episode. Next time, hopefully I can dig that shaft down a little deeper, go exploring the cave, maybe find some iron and get myself an iron pickaxe with some iron gear. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys tune in next time. Thanks again. Have a good one.